Hello, hello. I hope my mic doesn't die before this is over. But hi, I'm Ben. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently a software engineer working at a bank in London. I do social media, play badminton, semi-pro badminton player on the side, and honestly, I'm basically living my dream life right now. Like, I had a moment yesterday where I sat down, was having a coffee, not a Leon, but a nice specialty one, and I was just reflecting on my life in the past 3 years, going from being a lost, confused first year at SWE at a non-target uni to working for a startup, having a 70k startup job in my final year of uni, traveling to San Francisco, like doing on-the-ground sales at an AI conference, quitting that, traveling around Asia, coming back to the UK, starting work at a bank. And it's the type of thing where, like, I've just launched my small business, Dream Journals. It's a dedicated space for your greatest ideas. Dare to dream. And yeah, I had a moment, I was just sitting there with my coffee, headphones in, writing in my journal, and I was just so grateful. Like, I have everything I've ever wanted. My parents are in good health. I'm playing sports, I'm making content, I'm working on a business. I have the time for myself, the time for my friends, the time for my family, and I don't want more. At this point in my life, I am so happy with like exactly what's going on, and I'm part of this community. It's one of one personal brands. I've taken the time, like, because I've got a full-time job now, I can afford to invest in not only experiences like traveling with friends, but in knowledge and improving the skills that I want to work on, like content creation and social media. So we have a weekly challenge. This week's challenge is to tell your story. So I'm going to go over my story from how I started in first year, why I was studying economics at SARS in London, how I ended up going across industries, like being really confused, and then finally ending up where I am, software engineering in a bank, building a small business, doing social media, playing badminton, first tournament tomorrow. And yeah, life is fucking good. I'm going to try and do this before my mic dies, but if it does die, you'll just hear worse audio. But let's go back to first year, right? So I've got some notes, I won't use them, we'll do this on the fly. So back in first year, I had, for context, I studied maths, physics, and computer science at A-level. My dad is a software engineer, and in my final year of uni, final year of sixth form, when in year 13, I was 17, I had an identity crisis. I had an identity crisis over, am I doing software engineering? Am I trying to go to Oxbridge for computer science because I want to do it, or because my dad does it? And I didn't know. I really didn't know. And I remember breaking down, crying at home in my room, and going into school the next day and just telling my form tutor, I was in a computer science class, and telling her, I don't want to do computer science. I don't want to do software engineering. I'm going to apply for Chinese. Why Chinese? I'm half British, half Taiwanese. My mum's from Taiwan, my dad's from like Birmingham. 所以我会说一点中文. I can speak a bit of Mandarin. But the issue with growing up in the UK is I'd only ever go back to Taiwan maybe once a year, once every 2 years, and I spoke Mandarin with my mum. I went to Chinese school. Like, if you're half Asian, you kind of know. But I never really felt this true connection to my culture. I went to like a private school in the UK, and it was this sense of like this disconnect between who I know I am. This disconnect between like who I am, really. And I thought, no, like I don't know. I don't want to do software engineering. I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to go study Chinese and learn more about my culture. Now, when I told my parents, you can guess they were unhappy. Like, I had 3 A stars predicted. They're like, what are you doing? Why do you want to do this? Why don't you want to go and do software engineering? You can have such a successful life. You can do it. And I'm just like, it's not what I want to do. And I had a long, hard chat with my dad about this. We sat down, and I was just like, I really don't want to do software engineering. I desperately don't want to do it. And we ended up finding a compromise. He was like, Ben, you've done STEM for so many years, and you're actually really quite good at it. Like, bro, you've got the good predicted grades. Please do a joint degree. Please just find something you can do. So I ended up applying for Chinese and economics, these joint degrees. I applied at St Andrews, I applied for Durham, I applied for Liverpool, Leeds, and SOAS. Got rejected from St Andrews, got an offer from Durham for liberal arts, not Chinese and econ, because I didn't do econ. And then had Liverpool, Leeds, and SOAS. And I'm based in London, and I was just thinking, family is so important to me. Like, even though I had this disagreement with my parents about what I want to do, I really, really value family. And I just didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go outside of London, go far away. And I wanted to stay around family. So I chose SOAS. And what this meant was, in my first year, I was at a university I didn't really want to go to, doing a degree, Chinese econ, which I didn't really want to do as well. You know what's even worse, even funnier, is, so I was studying Chinese and economics. I speak pretty good Mandarin. My spoken, 我会说中文, 中文, oh, that accent. But I speak pretty good Chinese. Reading and writing was so-so, but I'd done my HSK4 at 18, Chinese government qualification. And I went into the first 2 weeks or so, I was doing Chinese, and had a chat with the teacher, and he was like, Ben, your Mandarin's too good. You're too good for first year. He thought I was too good for second year, because there was a question of like, what did you want to be when you were older? When I was young, I loved watching science programs like David Attenborough, all of this space stuff. So I was like, 我想当一个宇航员. I think it's 宇航员. That's an astronaut. And I was given this explanation of like, oh, I used to like volcanoes, do all this stuff, but I want to do this. And he was like, bro, your vocabulary is too advanced, even for the year 2 group. And the issue is, it's a 4-year degree, and if you were to jump to the 4th year course in first year, there's not enough credits for you to graduate with a Chinese econ degree. So he was basically telling me like, look, Ben, you're gonna have to transfer to economics. It's probably best you do so. You have a BSc, and then you can do the Chinese, the Mandarin, as an elective. So I did that, and I was at a university I didn't want to go to, doing a degree, economics, that I didn't initially want to do. And I was sweating my ass off, not even sweating my ass off, I was dying in year 4 Chinese. It was so hard. We were learning about like, 环保社会, what, I don't know, like environmental protection of Earth, and writing essays about economics. Oh, bro. Anyways, yeah, that was first year, the start of first year. I was very unhappy, and I was living out. I was living in halls, International Hall, if you know, in London, and to kind of get away from my unhappiness, I turned to clubbing and alcohol and drinking and going out. And I look back at that time, and I kind of look at the person I was, and I'm like, what were you doing, Ben? What were you doing? Like, just before uni, I broke up from like my first girlfriend, first relationship. It was the type of thing where you're like, you're kind of dating just to be dating. But it hurt a lot. I didn't really know why it ended. It was like after A-level results, ghosted, cold tag. I was like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, I kind of threw myself into clubbing, partying, going out. Had a lot of fun, but yeah, didn't go to lectures, wasn't studying, made some decisions, which now looking back I regret. But all I was doing was acting and doing what I thought best at the time. Right? Like if you kind of look back at your life and you beat yourself up every now and then, don't beat yourself up, because all you're doing is you're condemning an innocent man or an innocent woman, because all you were doing at the time is acting with the values you held and with your best interest. Got to learn to forgive. Anyways, after about 3 months of clubbing and degeneracy, I woke up. I had a wake-up call. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Sorry, pardon the profanity. What am I doing? This is not how I want to live my life. This is just like, I'm the type of person where I'm quite extreme. I have to go off the edge of the cliff to realize that I don't want to be doing what I'm doing, and I have to climb back up. And after about 3 months, I realized this is not what I want to do. I don't want to be a clubbing degenerate, just going out again and again. And I kind of slowly stopped hanging out with my clubbing friends, and was really fortunate that when I started going back to lectures again, I met 2 amazing people. My friends, really good friends, Ty and George. I keep checking my mic. Ty and George. Yeah, they're like brothers to me now. Without them, I don't really know where I would be today. I wouldn't be here, because I remember the first time we hung out properly. We went to get food at Ole, expensive Korean restaurant in London. I did not expect to be paying like £45 for a bibimbap and some beef, but yeah. Ty brought up spring weeks. He'd seen them on LinkedIn about 2-3 weeks earlier and was like, guys, we're doing econ. We should be investment bankers. Let's apply. And so kind of we're a bit late now. It's kind of like December time. The clubbing spree was from September onwards, really. And started applying. I was like, I don't want to be a software engineer. I want to be an investment banker. I want to be an investment banker. I want to kind of be like Wolf of Wall Street and earn loads of money and do this like long hours and crazy parties. No, but we applied like all of the banks in London, basically every single firm. And you know what? You're doing economics at SOAS. It's a non-target uni. I have good A levels. I had 3 A stars, but rejection. And it is so disheartening every time you see that email. Every time you go through the pain of doing the high view, maybe you got through to that stage. You do the assessment, well, the online assessment test. You invest so much time learning about the company values, and rejection. It makes you feel like I'm not worth it. I'm not worth anything. Like, what am I doing with my life? And I just remember, I can't remember how many companies we applied to. It was like looking at all these trackers and doing all this stuff. But got to Deutsche Bank, where I currently work, and there was 3 options. There was one for the investment bank, one for fixed income currency, and one for tech. And I was like, man, I don't want to be a software engineer. I don't want to be a software engineer. I don't want to do what my dad does. And I was like, you know what? I am quite good at it. I did really enjoy making my A-level project. I made like a dungeon crawler game. I really enjoyed doing the A-level. Let me give it a shot. And I do the higher view, I do the online test, I do the assessment, and I get it. I get the telephone interview and they're like, oh, and you kind of just answer it however you can, right? It's your first time ever. It was my first time ever doing it. And I got it. So for a week, I can't remember the exact date, but sometimes later in the year around spring, probably March, I went to Deutsche Bank and we got a tour of how the investment bank works, how technology, all the different divisions. The way Spring Weeks kind of work is it's less so divisional focus, more so this is the company, this is how we work. We've already gone through the vetting process for you, so we'd really like you to come and work for us. If you're in your first year, if you're 18, or it doesn't matter really how old you are, if you're in your first year or second year on a 4-year course and you're considering you want to go corporate, you want to have the stability in your life to build the life you want to live from that, start looking into Spring Weeks, because the companies will pre-vet, and when they fill out their interns, they want to go from their springs. When they fill out their graduate schemes, they want to go from their interns. It's like this chain of opportunity really starts there. And even now it's crazy. Like these work placement schemes start at 16 now. You can go do work experience. I think Lloyd's do one. There's lots of schemes. Really, I'm very grateful I've met my friends, but if you're watching this and you're 16 to 18, you're kind of about to go into uni, you're already in uni, start thinking about career, because it is so important nowadays to get started early. But yeah, after that, and it was amazing, I got paid for a Spring Week. Like what? I just kind of went and walked around the company, had a look. But yeah, I kind of came away, it was like, you know what, I really enjoyed this. And if you do the Spring Week, you're fast tracked to assessment centre. So my mate George did a couple other ones. I think he did HSBC, Bloomberg, maybe one more, I can't remember. But you get fast tracked to assessment centre. And that would be later in the summer. So I was kind of chilling out the rest of the first year, playing lots of badminton. Oh my gosh, if you're clubbing too much, you were clubbing too much, and you kind of feel a bit lost. You're like, I don't want to club anymore. I don't want to like go out drinking. I don't want all my friends or the only activities I do to be around alcohol, right? Like, it's that feeling of, am I friends with the people or am I friends with the drug? But you want to do something different. You want to kind of have some fun or enjoy uni, checking the mic, join some societies. Like, when I look back at my 3 years at SOAS, what made it such an enjoyable, beautiful, brilliant experience was badminton. It was the team. And it wasn't the sport, it was the people I was playing with. When I joined the team in first year, I hated the captain. Me and Sam, we didn't get on very well. I think our values were very different. I was partying, clubbing, right? He was kind of a year above me, focused on his work, yada. But kind of in the rest of that first year going into second year, as I slowly matured, as my frontal cortex developed a little bit more, we started to become closer, became very good friends. He's now working as well, working at Capgemini. But yeah, like the trips we've had, the memories we have together, I'm so incredibly grateful. Join a society. find that belonging. Go out. And a lot of people complain that they go to uni or they're in school and they don't have any friends. They complain that, oh man, like nobody likes me. Like why is this not working out? And my take on this is you have to put yourself out there for your people to come. Like I did a little exercise about a week and a half ago, no longer, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where I went through 21 realizations I had at 21. Like a lot of people do the 30 lessons by 30, all of these series, but I did it just for myself. And I think one of them is really fitting. Number 6 for me was put yourself out there and your people will come. And this is in like multiple forms. I think when I wrote this, I was talking about social media, but it really is in life. Like you have to, if you don't go out actively and speak to people, you can't assume someone's just going to come and approach you and be like, do you want to be friends? You have to take the initiative to go and speak to people, to go and you can't arrive at this point where I am now. You can't arrive at your dream life. You can't arrive at where you want to be without taking action. Life doesn't just happen to you. Like if you're watching this and you're like, oh man, I really want to like start doing these things. I want to, by the end of uni, I want to have like done multiple experiences, gone and got some consulting experience, worked in asset management a little bit, done some climate policy. I want to have worked for a startup, gone to San Francisco. You want to do like maybe what I've done, right? You have to start putting yourself out there. You have to take action, right? Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, because if it's perfect inaction, you haven't done anything. The mic died, so the audio is worse, but you're gonna have to live with it. Imperfect action is 100 times better than perfect inaction, because if it's perfect inaction, you haven't done anything, right? So where does this bring us to? This is the kind of end of first year. I had my assessment center. I'll probably make a separate video about how to approach assessment centers, how to approach auditions, job interviews, orchestral things. But the key takeaway, the key point for all of those is really, you got to embrace the process. You got to trust yourself and the work you've put in and realize that the only thing I control is my own performance. I can't control how the interviewer, how the assessor, how the person judging me is feeling. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they had an argument with their other half the night before, right? And they're just in a bad mood, and it just was your unlucky day. Sometimes life is like that, and there's not really much we can do about it, right? But yeah, where does this leave us? So, end of first year, I convert my assessment center. I land a summer internship in software engineering for Deutsche Bank for my second year summer, and I'm like, right, cool, I'm studying economics. I should probably do a bit of coding, right? I think I got very lucky in the fact that I was studying economics and I landed the software engineering, like basically software engineering summer with my A-level software engineering, A-level coding knowledge, which is all they were looking for at the time, right? But it's kind of like, as you go into internship, as you go into grad scheme, they look for the equivalent level of software engineering skill, along with what you'd expect like a second year CS student to have, a third year CS student to have. So I was having a chat with my dad, software engineer, over the summer, and he was like, yeah, you should totally build some projects. And at the time, I was very into self-improvement. I think a lot of young people, not just young men, everyone really, you get to a point where you're like, I'm not really that happy with my life. I'm not really that happy with maybe how I look, how strong I am, with my skills. Perhaps it's how you speak. Perhaps it's, you just want to wake up and feel happy when you open the blinds, right? Maybe you just want to be making your bed in the morning, right? It's just like getting the structure back in your life. And I had been into self-improvement maybe about 2 years, and I was making these habit trackers, either doing it in my journal or making these paper A4 sheets that I put on my wall. And I thought a brilliant way to practice coding, a brilliant way to learn to code if you're a non-CS student and you do like another degree and you want to learn to code, is to build projects you care about, right? Build things you actually care about and that you would use, right? Like something I'm working on right now, which I'm planning to roll out into like a SaaS tool, maybe in the future, is a network manager. It's like a second layer memory management, like your contacts essentially for the people you actually care about in your life. LinkedIn, when you have like 500 plus bloody connections, 500 plus connections, profanity, sorry. You don't actually know everyone on a personal level. And what I've found in my experience of working for startups, like doing all of this internships, experience, grad scheme, is it always comes down to the people. It always comes down to the people. And do you have genuine connection? Do you actually connect with this person do you know who they are? It's a shame, but it's not a meritocracy. Not everything is merit-based. It actually comes down to who you know and how good are you at what you do, and do people know you are good at what you do? Nobody's going to toot your horn unless you toot it yourself. But anyways, I digress. I'm building like a small side project for fun. I'll probably talk about more about it in another video when it's more finished. Currently, it only works for me locally on my machine. It's not hosted on the web or cloud or anything, but I'm very, very excited. But yeah, build something you care about. So I built a really kind of scrappy habit tracker. I used Python, I used Streamlit to make it really easy front end, but it worked. And it means when you go into a conversation, when you're speaking to someone who tells them, yeah, like I'm an econ student, but I'm really interested in coding, I've got a software engineering internship, they might ask you, oh, like what have you built? What projects have you done? You can tell them you're actually working on something. Like so many times when I'm working with people, helping them, I'm helping one of my mates break into UX now. He's been working freelance for a couple of years. I did CS, realized he hated it, wanted to do UX design. Worked freelance with startups for about 3 years doing contract work, realized he didn't want to do freelance contract work and actually wants stability now in his life. But we've been working to break into big tech together for about 2 months. And we're at a point where he's had like multiple chats with people at big tech companies, and it's going quite well. And one of the things we focused on is when you have that conversation with someone, when you have that coffee chat, when you go and speak to someone doing the job you want to do or you're interested in, they want to see that you actually have an interest in what they do, that you've actually taken action, not that you just said you do, right? Because it's very easy to talk the talk, but you actually have to walk the walk. You actually have to do the thing and prove that you are who you say you are. So we've been working on the portfolio. Super simple. Super, super simple, right? Like the reason I love in-person meetings is because like you can show them the CRM you built on your computer. You can show them the habit tracker you built. You can show them the badminton score logger you made for your badminton club, right? The automatic sorting thing for kind of tournament software, maybe, if that's what you've done. But yeah, you have to kind of like do the thing. You have to do the thing. But yeah, over that summer, I went to Taiwan. Saw my grandparents, granddad, my grandma, my aunt. Had a really good summer, and yeah, I did a bit of coding. Had no Wi-Fi, no kind of real internet data. Didn't buy an eSIM. Don't know why I didn't, but didn't do it. And yeah, I did a lot of coding. Got a lot better at Python, and yeah, it was nice to tune out of social media, this like online crazy world, and just focus on me, on what I want to do, right? Because something I really believe in it's very easy to get like mentally overloaded by all of the inputs. Like, I'm sure you've heard the saying, you are what you eat, and you are what you eat, right? And what you eat is not just the food you eat, the coffee you drink, people, but it's also the people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, the areas you go to hang out in, right? Like, life is art, content is art, it is all art, and you're the product of like all of your experiences. And what you eat, what you consume is also an experience. But yeah, I came back from Taiwan, went into my second year, quite a happy chappy. Man, this is going to be a long video. Thank you very much for sticking and watching, but I think I've just got to do this for myself. Where do we go? So the second year I was actually like locking in. Well, not locking in, I had the internship secured, but I was actually studying, going to lectures, doing the work, playing badminton. I was now the treasurer of the society. Yeah, a good place to get experience on your CV as well is to join a society and actually do some work. But yeah, I was still doing some networking. I wasn't sure if software engineering was exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I was very grateful I secured the intern, but I was doing a bit of networking around consulting, managed to speak to a couple of partners, some consulting firms. Yeah, did like a short kind of one-day shadowing at like an asset manager, which was quite fun. But yeah, just kind of second year was very chill. It was more so, I had the security. That I had this internship lined up, and I knew that I was going to go and do it. And it was just a brilliant year of studying, a little bit of travel, a tad of heartbreak. And an internship, a really brilliant thing actually is, before I went on the internship, the badminton team, we went on holiday to Portugal. We did a Portugal badminton trip, and it wasn't to go play tournaments or go on tour. It was actually just to go on holiday. Like, this is what I mean about the belonging and finding your people. I found my people on badminton, and I had such a beautiful time. Such a beautiful, beautiful time. But the really interesting stuff in my second year, that comes on my internship. That is when I properly started making content. again. For me, I've always actually wanted to make content. I think it kind of started around 15, 16 when I watched some make money online dropshipping videos. I tried a bunch of dropshipping businesses around 15, 16, never really made enough money, made much money. I did dropship some like retro posters, made about like 50 quid. But yeah, during COVID, I was kind of posting on TikTok. I think lots of people were just trying to get famous, trying to do this thing, but it never really stuck and never really truly resonated with who I was. But it was around second year, I was just like, man, like at the start of first year, I got the new iPhone 14, I bought my mics, I bought the tripod, I bought everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna vlog my whole uni experience. And I didn't do it. I'm sure many of you are sitting in this position being like, bro, I said I was gonna vlog, I said I was gonna start this, I said I was gonna do the YouTube, you just have to begin, right? And for me, I was like, oh, I'm too scared to post on Instagram. I was too scared to post on Instagram. It's why you do the much lower barrier to entry, lower stakes method of posting on TikTok, right? Like, like TikTok was where I was like posting these like really silly, not really silly, but yeah, I was just posting day in the life. Like, this is a day in my life as a student in London. This is what I'm doing. It was really just like studying, chilling out, seeing friends. And when I started posting on Instagram, was run up to my exams in second year. I was kind of like, to make myself consistent with what I'm doing, I am just gonna vlog every single day to my exams. And I did. I think I did like 50 days straight. You can go back on my Insta. Maybe I missed one or two, but I was posting every single day. And I think one of the best ways to start is really common advice. Is just give yourself a 30-day challenge and start. Because at the beginning, you have enough ideas, you have enough experience in your whole life to be able to do stuff and make content every day. But like kind of at the point I am now, it's like well, one, you've got work, you've got other responsibilities and playing badminton, but the content schedule's a bit more spaced out. But you will find if you're making videos every day, you'll probably run out of ideas to talk about just because you're young and you don't have that much life experience. That's what I found. Like, I'd make videos consistently for like 30 days and then I'd like, bro, I need to go live life. I don't have anything to talk about. And then just like live life for a bit and then come back. Yeah, I'm so grateful, very grateful that I started. And yeah, and it kind of got to a point where I think I posted 100 videos. Not a single one had broken 1,000 views, I think. Maybe one had got like 2K. But I was just having fun, right? I think the key is to approach it with the mindset of fun. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And that's what I was doing. I think 100 videos, literally just me and my friends, we went to climb a mountain, we went and did this, studying, yada, yada, yada. But it got to a point where I was like, man, I want to kind of take this a bit seriously. And I think this guy called Arman, you may know him. And he's in the US, goes to FIU. I think he like he's quite big now, he's like 140K, but at the time he was around like 20, 30. And he posted on his story that he's doing a kind of creator coaching thing, and I was thinking like, you know what, I've got my internship coming, I'm gonna earn some like decent money over the summer. And he was like doing this content creating course, it was like £400. I was like, you know what, I really want to take this seriously, I want to do this properly, I'm gonna invest. And so I like replied to his DM, we hop on a call, he's like, yeah, it's great fit. And he kind of like do about 3 weeks of kind of coaching. Like he's like reviewing videos, And at the end of it, he was like, you know what, man, I actually don't want to charge you for this. I don't want this to be, I think maybe he didn't like the fact of selling, but it was very much, he didn't want that relationship to become transactional. And I'm very grateful for not only the help, but like more so the help, but also like, bro didn't charge. Bro was just like giving, and it's just, yeah. And then when he came to the UK, I think a couple of months ago, we actually went and got hot pot, which was crazy. Really good fun, really, really good fun. But yeah, I started making content, and I remember the first day, I vlogged the first day of my summer internship, and it just blew up. Did like 200K views. And it seems like an overnight success. I think it always seems like an overnight success with content or with a lot of things really. But what you don't see is the hard work. The 100 videos that I posted right before any did well. A great example is Seth Lloyd, right? He's the one who's running this one-on-one community. He's 19 years old, I think 19, made over 100K from his online business in the past like year. And I've seen this complete come up from having 600 followers to now over 20K, right? I've watched the entire come up over the past 18 months, and content is his thing. Seth is the storyteller. And it's just like, there was a point in time where we met up at South Bank Centre and I was giving him advice on content. Now it's the other way around. but it's the type of thing where you're knowing your limits and knowing where your speciality lies. Like, I'm really good at networking. My strengths are creativity, my kind of hack it together attitude, and my empathy. Like, networking is what helped me get the job at the startup, helped me fly out to San Francisco in my kind of final year. It's like what helped me land and convert as an intern. And I know my specific skill set. Seth is brilliant at content. That's why I paid him to join the community, and it's really paid off massively. Massively. But yeah, no, that first video blew up and it kind of just ran from there. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just making videos the best I could and having fun. Got some sponsorships, got a free meal every now and then. And yeah, it was really good. But this is when it's kind of startups coming. So posting a lot of content, and I remember one day, so like I said, I like to journal, and I just started the journal company. It's quite funny. I started the company around like just over a year and a half ago, but I never sold any because I was too scared to sell. But I was using the journals myself, testing the products. I had like a bunch of samples from China, and we didn't make pens yet. We didn't make this dream jotter. I was just using my Lamy, my old fountain pen, and I ran out of ink. So I went to there's like a Ryman's in Canary Wharf. I went to buy some more ink for my fountain pen. And while I was there, I think I had about 2K followers at the time. I'm walking the wall and I feel this hand on my shoulder. I turn around to see, and it's this giant Somali guy. He's like really big. I'm 6'5", he was about 6'2", but like really built. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? He's like, excuse me, do you make content? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, bro, I've got 2K followers. He's like, yeah, I do make content. He's like, what's your name? I was like, oh, I'm Ben. And he's like, no, wait, I follow you on Instagram. I really like your videos. I send them to my like nephews, my cousins. They're such a great influence. Keep it up, man. And he then continues to say, I'm a startup founder based in Canary Wharf. I've got a meeting right now, but let's grab lunch sometime. I'll message you. Adds me on Instagram, I follow him back. Adds me on LinkedIn. We grab lunch. I think not later that week, but the next week. And we just really hit off like that, like on values, on aspirations, on life, on just kind of a bunch of stuff. And he ended up connecting me to the founder of the CRM company that I ended up working for, that I ended up flying out to San Francisco with. And the reason he connected me was, at the time, I built the first scrappy version of Tethering, this personal second layer memory management thing I'm working on now. Yeah. And he connected us because he was like, oh, you're building this personal network manager. They're building basically the same thing, but with AI, you should totally get together. You can riff. And Idris is the type of person where he's a connector. He's a massive connector. And I think it's the type of thing, if you want to be great in networking, you have to aspire to be a connector. Like with me, myself, one of my friends, he did an intern at the civil service last summer, and he's very, very smart, Cambridge natural sciences, but he didn't really enjoy it too much. It was like not using his full brain power. And he was like, Ben, I'm not really sure, I'm kind of interested in consulting. Do you know anyone? And by chance, I knew a BCG partner who worked in the civil service for around 7 years before going to consulting. And I was just like, oh yeah, this would be a great connect. So I remember the last time I caught up with him was about a year ago. But I still had his email, still had his PA's email, and I was just like, let me just send an email to him, CC and my friend Tamor, just be like, I think we should make a connect. And it's I understand why Idris does this now. I understand it now. It's such a beautiful feeling when you create opportunities for your friends, when you win together. Like, my whole purpose of my whole brand and everything I'm doing is to help you create opportunities to build the life you want to live. Because I've been able to create those opportunities for myself, and I think, why not help other people do the same? It's why, for like the networking course and Back on Track and all these things I'm building and the journals, I'm starting to help my friends first. Because why would I not, right? I want my bros to come with me to succeed. And then, once it's fully fleshed, we'll open it out to you guys. But yeah, it was just so beautiful. And he connected us, and we kind of stayed in contact. Like, over the rest of the intern, I was, of course, doing my work. I was on this LLM research team. It was really good fun. Again, using my Python. I'm very lucky that I was just doing like Python all the way. Another thing, we were told that you can't ask to choose your team for the intern, but I just asked anyway. Sometimes, like, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I was just like, oh, can I be on like an AI team? I've been really interested in this. I didn't really know much about AI at the time, but I got placed on this team. Amazing team. Really great fun. I learned so much that summer, but I came away at the end of the summer with around about 10k on Instagram. Amazing. A lot of decent interest in the journals, connections with startup founders in London, and the return offer, of course. I was bawling. I was like, man, life is so good. But that's kind of when things went a bit wrong. And they went wrong in a sense where I didn't know who I was. I didn't actually know what I really wanted to do. And all through uni up to the end of second year, I'd been constantly working to get to this point. And kind of things started catching up with me. I remember with Dream Journals, I had a marketing intern. I had someone DM me off Instagram. It was like, oh, I really want to work with you. I really want to help you with those products. And like, I didn't have the time management skills. I didn't have the leadership skills. I wasn't the man yet, is how I put it. There's a saying, you know the saying, right? It's like everything happens for a reason. And at the time, I don't think I had the capacity as an individual to take on content, take on my final year of uni, take on whatever this startup thing might turn into, take on Dream Journals, like hold everything within my basket. I did not have the capacity, I did not have the time, I did not have the energy. And kind of fell apart. Not really, a little bit. It's kind of a couple of things kind of fell off the burner, and I went into third year thinking I was a businessman, not actually running a business because I wasn't selling any journals. Posting content, enjoying time with my friends, playing lots of badminton. And yeah, the third year for me was a lot about discovering who I was. Now there's, oh my God, go to Asia and discover yourself. But I think it's the type of thing, as soon as I had the certainty, I knew I had the return offer, like kind of there, I knew I had the graduate job. I was like, well, I think it's time to figure out what do I actually want to do. Because I came away from that intern thinking, do I want to go and do back office tech in a bank for the rest of my life? And this comes down to my understanding of, well, this is the framework I like to look at jobs, right? So when you think about what you want to do, you want to do something that's both professionally and creatively fulfilling. Professionally and creatively fulfilling. That is the kind of dream. Now, software engineering at a bank is professionally fulfilling, but it's not creatively fulfilling. Like, this is why I do the content, all the Dream Journals, why I'm building these businesses, doing the creative things on the side. But at the time, I didn't really understand what was going on, and I had this burning question inside me. The question really was, can I make a full-time income as a creative? Is it possible to match my salary here? And so I kind of I was like, I'm going to try and sell the journals. I didn't actually market or sell any, but I was basically like taking a lot of brand deals. I did one with the civil service for their grad scheme, a couple of other kind of small deals here and there, but I was kind of convincing myself that I was this big businessman. I was like so delusional. I was like thinking I'm up here when really like, you have to be incredibly realistic with your current situation and be like really honest with where you are right now. This is my take. Be really honest about where you are right now. Completely real. Be very delusional about what you can achieve, and like, don't live in the past. You don't want to live in the past, you want to live in the present. I was being delusional about where I was. Not good. But yeah, I kind of created this project, 522. It was this goal of, can I earn £52,000 gross per year from doing something creative? And at the end of the year, I did. Not from my own businesses, but from this startup. So remember how I mentioned I met this AI startup way back in, not way back, but on my internship. And I got in connection because I built a similar CRM tool and they were building an AI one. Now I get a call from the founder Naz. We maintained contact over the past couple of months, having a Zoom call here and there. We're like, how's the progress, what you've been building, what the ideas, yada, yada, yada. And I get a call from him around December. He's like, hey, Ben, we've raised funding. I'm like, oh shit, no way. That's so cool. They raised seed funding. And he's like, yeah, when we were speaking, I told him if I was to work with them, I'd love to do a role just technical. I wanted to be a software engineer. And he told me, oh, Ben, we've hired all our engineers. We're not looking for any more engineers, but we've been seeing your content. We really like what's going on. Would you like to be the creative director? we're looking to hire someone. I was like, you ask a 20-something-year-old, do you want to be the creative director of a startup? Bro, of course I'm going to say yes. Of course I'm going to say yes. Opportunity created. But yeah, and I kind of put together a proposal, sent it over to them. I think I was like, it's like in negotiations, always ask for more than you actually want. So we're trying to start a corporate badminton team here at work. We got like a funding proposal later in Jan's after Christmas. But yeah, we're asking for a lot more money than we actually need. Because if you ask for a big number and they're like, oh, we're scared of the big number, they'll look at the small number and be like, yeah, we'll probably give that to you. So hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. It might not, but we'll see. Anyways, I put the proposal, we negotiate a little bit, and they say yes. And yeah, I spent the last 3 months of uni. Like I had one exam. I finished all of my coursework. The exam was super chill. I think I ended up getting 80% in it, but like, yeah, the exam was super chill. I kind of knew I was on track for a first. I was basically working for the startup. We were like, it was really, like, creative director is a strange position because you're really wearing multiple hats. You're doing like a bit of UX, you're doing a bit of like business consulting, you're doing a fair bit of content, you're doing, I got to look at a little bit of the code, a bit of coding. Yeah, very, very strange, but kind of just like, I think they saw the potential in me and were like, go on, just see what you can do. And it was much more of almost like an apprenticeship of what it's like to be a founder, which was so cool. And then I remember it kind of, I still held the offer, right, from Deutsche Bank. I still had my graduate offer, and I was sitting in this position like, okay, right, I've got the startup role. I've completed my goal of, can I earn a full-time income from doing something creative? And then now the difficult question I was in is, well, what do I want to do? And I remember being at my mate Sam, he hosted a potluck. He finally got his job offer as well for consulting. And I was speaking to my mate Norman, the one I'm helping break into UX about this. I was speaking to him, like, bro, like, I just don't know what to do. I've got these two brilliant options, and it's like, not to be ungrateful, because like, I was very grateful for the position I was in. But I was just like, man, what do I want to do? Like, I just don't know. And it's the saying, like, you got to fuck around to find out. Pardon the profanity. Like you can only figure out what you actually want to do by doing it. This is what I mean by going off the edge of the cliff and then having to climb back up once you realize it. You have to do the thing to realize you don't want to do it. And that's basically what happened. So as much fun as it was, the kind of main reasons I ended up leaving was a mix of, or really I was taking a lot of headman risk by doing a lot of the content. And it's the idea, like, it's not my company, they're posting all this content, what's going on? But more in the sense that, like, I think this is kind of comes from within me, that like, it wasn't my company, really. And as much fun as it was to learn and do all those things, it wasn't my company. And yeah, I remember, like, we were going to go to San Francisco for this conference season, Sastra, and I made up my mind, I resolved to quit, to leave this dream job of mine. Like, if you asked me a year ago before that, I would have said, my dream job is to literally just be paid to make content. And then I got to that position, I was like, you know what? This is not actually my dream. I realized that I was chasing this ideal. I've seen so many people on social media like quit their jobs, go do startups. Like, startups was the big thing. And then I ended up getting there and I was just like, this is not what I want to do. What I'm doing right now is what I want to do. But it took me a while to figure that out as well. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I made the very tough call. It was literally the day after my final exam. I remember sitting in the library building at SOAS and taking this call and being like, hey Naz, I'm sorry, I'm going to quit. And I had like a proposal, I had someone else in mind who could take over the role if they were looking for another creative director, but they were like, oh no, it's okay. And I basically told them, like, look Naz, if you don't want me to come to San Francisco, that's completely fine. But he's like, no. Why would we do that? We're going to finish off strong. You got to be a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Like, this is one of my biggest takeaways, my biggest learning lessons is finish what you started. Every time, every investor dinner, every big thing we were at in San Francisco, the same piece of advice, always from these people further along the line than me, looking back, is always finish what you started. It's why I'm so proud of myself for finally selling the journals, finally starting the business, finally going all in on the things I said I was going to do. right? You want to be a man of your word. You want to be a woman of your word. One, so people trust you, but more so you trust yourself, so you believe in yourself, right? Where does confidence come from? Where does charisma come from? It comes from the repeated action of doing the things you say you will. Confidence is built up over time, not just by saying you are confident in the mirror. Affirmations work, but only when they're paired with the actions you're taking. It's like a confirmation. But yeah, and then after that last month, well, we were in San Francisco and then coming back was just amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. A dream. I will definitely be back in San Francisco. Probably in a few years, but mark my word, I will be back. And yeah, after that, I quit the job, said our parted ways, left. The founders ended up becoming more mentors and friends than bosses. And I went and traveled around Asia with my mum. I went to Vietnam to visit one of my best friends, and then went to Taiwan to see my granddad, and came back and started work. And that kind of puts me into where I am today. So when I started work, everything kind of fell apart. It was the whole idea of like going from uni to full-time work, going from like a startup to full-time work is very different. But I think I will go into that in a separate video. But thank you very much for watching. That is my journey from A to B, from lost, confused uni student studying a degree he didn't want to do, questioning his whole life purpose, like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this just because my parents want me to do? To realizing I am exactly where I'm meant to be. Like, I couldn't stress how aligned I feel with my content, aligned with I feel with the work I'm doing here, aligned I feel with the journal brand I'm building, aligned I feel with the people I'm working, helping my mates create opportunities for themselves, and eventually helping you create opportunities for you too. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. There is a badminton vlog dropping soon. It's really good.